Welcome back to Wrestling World. Today's wrestling news will cover the latest on Roman Reigns' heel turn and how Charlotte Flair just responded to a huge rumor about herself. So let's start things off with Roman Reigns. So I was wrong when we talked about Roman Reigns' return at SummerSlam. I talked about how I wasn't sure if it was a full-blown heel turn and that I thought he would just be a more edgy version of his former self. While I was wrong about that, Roman Reigns' official heel turn was completed in the closing moments of Smackdown. Vince McMahon sent Adam Pearce on a mission to collect all 3 signatures for the triple threat match at WWE Payback, and it was quite the mission. Adam Pearce was able to enter the Firefly Funhouse while playing the role of Postman Pearce. He dressed up as the postman and was able to get Bray's signature for the match. So that was one signature down. He had a run-in with Braun Strowman backstage, which also led to him getting his signature. Roman Reigns was the last signature left that needed to be on the contract. After being ignored by Roman Reigns all night on SmackDown, Adam decides to just walk in, and that's when we see Roman Reigns in his locker room. Roman looks at the contract for a quick second, and it seems like he wants to really look the entire thing over before signing it. The camera cuts away from Roman Reigns to head back to the ring, but when we cut back to Roman Reigns reading the contract, he tells Adam Pearce that he's not signing it, but he's still walking into Payback and taking back the Universal title that he never lost. That's also another true fact there by Roman that I loved. That whole situation of "I never lost my title" when a superstar returns after relinquishing a title is a bit generic and repetitive at this point, but it makes sense in Roman's case. It was a few years back, but I remember that Roman Reigns never lost his Universal Championship. Roman had to relinquish the title due to that very serious illness that he was battling at the time. Then he had the opportunity to get that title back from Goldberg, but everything in the world happened and that match never took place. Roman hands the contract back to Adam and says that him winning the title is not a prediction. It's a spoiler, and the camera pans over to show Paul Heyman sitting beside him. By far the biggest moment of the night, and it makes sense why WWE saved that moment to close out SmackDown. I was on the fence about this being a huge heel turn, but the second I saw Paul Heyman, that's when this heel turn became official for me. Paul Heyman's character is just this evil mastermind manager, or advocate as he likes to often refer to himself as. So there's just no way for a babyface to justify aligning with Paul Heyman. If you align with him, you're most definitely heel. And that's the situation here. This is a moment that fans thought they'll never see, and they couldn't believe it. Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman went trending after SmackDown went off air, and it left the fans buzzing about something exciting. We finally have this new refreshing version of Roman Reigns. This is something we've been discussing here on the channel during Roman's time away from the WWE. We talked about how Roman just had to return with a whole new look and feel to his character. This long break was the perfect opportunity to shake things up for his character, and thankfully, that's exactly what WWE did. Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns both responded to the news on Twitter. Paul Heyman tweeted out the highlight clip of the big moment, and Roman quoted the tweet and responded by saying, "Been waiting on this for a long time. Here we go." That's exactly true. This has sort of been hinted at for years now. While Roman Reigns was feuding with Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman always complimented Roman all the time. He said that he knows Roman's family. He knows that he's talented and very gifted. And it was like Paul Heyman was already planting the seeds for all this way back then. So I love that part about it. It's very believable that Paul Heyman was probably in Roman's ear planning this entire thing out. So that's what I love the most. The link up between Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman makes sense because they have a lot of history together. Paul Heyman was right there just seeing all of Roman's matches up close and in person during all those matches that Roman had with Brock Lesnar. Roman faced Brock Lesnar countless times from Wrestlemania to SummerSlam to so many other big events. So Paul Heyman should already have a good idea about Roman's in-ring style and the certain areas that Roman has to elevate himself in. Even before they showed Paul Heyman, I was loving Roman's whole new demeanor and attitude. His acting, the way he delivered his lines, now with so much impact, I really enjoyed it. I love that Paul Heyman is with Roman Reigns, but one thing I hope they don't do is limit Roman's promo time, just from the lines he told Bray and Strowman at SummerSlam, as well as the lines he had on SmackDown. His deliverance has been amazing so far. and I would really love to hear more from this new Roman. So I hope Heyman doesn't limit Roman's mic time too much, because I definitely would like to hear from Roman as well. This is being recorded before Payback, so I'm not aware of Roman's theme song and attire right now. This is a big shift in character, so does he return with a whole new theme and attire? It's possible, but I honestly don't mind either way. If he keeps his old attire and the Shield music, I really wouldn't mind it. But if he comes out to a new song, and as long as this song is great, then I wouldn't mind it either. Like we talked about before, I just don't want to see Roman give up his iconic theme song for one of those generic sounding songs. That's my biggest fear. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But big things seem to be on the way for Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. I think what everyone is talking about now is what would Brock Lesnar's reaction be towards seeing Heyman with Roman? Would he see it as a betrayal and come after Heyman and Roman? Or would he be accepting of it? So I think that would be an interesting return story for Brock Lesnar that we'll really dive into at a later date. How would Heyman be able to balance it between managing both Roman and Brock? That'll be the most interesting thing to see. Our next story covers Charlotte's huge response to a big rumor that was going around about her. Reports were claiming that Charlotte was going to be gone for so long that she'll miss next year's WrestleMania. Charlotte is reportedly doing a lot of things outside of the ring right now, so that's why these reports are making it seem like she's going to be out of action for the next year. Charlotte thankfully responded directly to the report and had this to say about it. This isn't remotely true, but I'm going to skip over that because this is the same person who was making jokes about a psychopath trying to capture my coworkers. If you follow this garbage, shame on you. Charlotte also retweeted a tweet from another journalist that said everyone should block those fake news accounts. So it seems that this individual Charlotte was referring to previously made jokes about the Sonya Deville situation, which is just unspeakably horrible. Then on top of these jokes, they're also creating these fake rumors about Charlotte missing next year's WrestleMania. So you can understand the frustration there from Charlotte. You're insulting her coworker that went through a horrific experience, and now you're spreading these rumors. That's why Charlotte responded the way she did. That's why I tend to stay away from those bogus reports like that. They always seem like a reach to me, so I don't even cover that and pay it much attention. But since Charlotte replied, I thought I'll cover that instead. There's still no word on Charlotte's return, but one thing we know for sure is that she most definitely won't be missing next year's WrestleMania. So that's one great thing to note. But what are your thoughts on some of the topics we covered today with Roman Reigns and Charlotte? Are you a fan of Roman Reigns' heel turn so far? And what are your thoughts on how Charlotte just exposed that report? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at WrestlingWorldCC and on Twitter at WrestlingWCC. Thanks for watching, guys.